She left her village with nothing but a dream. But behind the glitter of fame was a cage no one saw coming. She became a global sensation. But every song she sang was a cry for help. Hidden messages, secret footage, and one final live performance that exposed everything on air. But just when she thought it was over, a letter arrived.
He's not gone.
Just deeper underground. Warning, what she does next will leave you speechless. Backhand index pointing right, if you want to know how this real story unfolds, watch till the end. And if you want more emotionally gripping stories like this, subscribe now and drop a comment with the name of the next dark secret you want uncovered. She stepped on stage with trembling hands, while the crowd chanted a name that wasn't hers. Spotlights blinded her. Sweat dripped down her spine. But in that moment, she wasn't the girl from a night market in Chiang Mai. She was someone. For years ago, no one knew her voice. Now, millions streamed it. But none knew the truth it carried. Because fame doesn't come free. And in Thailand, every star is born beneath a shadow. Her name was Molly, daughter of a street food vendor. Raised behind a cow soy stall with burnt hands and burning dreams. She used to sing for tips in the market. Tourists would stop, smile, record, then walk away. But one man didn't walk away. Jack Carson, an American music scout on vacation. Slick hair, smooth words, a promise too shiny to be safe. I can make you a star. He said it like a spell. And Molly, barely 16, believed him. Her mother didn't. She cried on the steps of the temple that night, begging Molly to stay. But Molly wanted more. More than curry pots and cracked fingernails. She followed Jack to Bangkok, then to LA. The first year was magic. Studios, photo shoots, a new name, Mia Star. But the second year, the locks on the doors changed. So did Jack. He said she owed him now. That stars were built, not born. She wasn't allowed to leave the house alone. Her phone was monitored. Her songs rewritten. Her smile trained. But her voice was still hers. And it held secrets. Whispers she slipped into lyrics. Clues.
Cries.
Messages hidden between hooks. Her latest track? #1 in 3 countries. The title? Find Me. No one knew what it meant. Not yet. But tonight, at the live award show, with millions watching, she wasn't going to sing what Jack wanted. She had a plan, a message, and a microphone that no one could cut. Backstage, her hands trembled again. A producer whispered, "Jack's in the control room. Stick to the script." She nodded. But in her pocket, a flash drive. A video, 1 minute long, recorded at 3 a.m. in a bathroom mirror. Evidence. The truth. Her cue came. She stepped into the spotlight, and Jack's voice crackled through her earpiece.
Molly.
Don't do this. She looked into the lens. The crowd cheered. The music swelled. But she didn't open her mouth to sing. She raised the flash drive high, and the screen behind her lit up. With her face,
bruised, crying,
and 3 words flashing beneath it. This is real. Gasps echoed through the arena like thunder. The crowd froze. The beat cut out. Producers screamed into headsets. Jack bolted from the control room, shoving cameras aside, his face pale for the first time. But Molly didn't flinch. She stood tall, spotlight still on her, as the video played behind her for the world to see. Every word, every bruise, every locked door. She spoke, her voice calm. No auto-tune, no script. My name is Molly. They renamed me Mia Star. But this is who I am. Tears welled in her eyes, but she didn't let them fall. They told me I owed them my silence, that my dreams were theirs to control. But I won't be silent anymore. Security swarmed the stage, some trying to block the screen, others watching in stunned disbelief. Phones lit up the stadium, thousands of them, streaming, recording, sharing. Jack reached the side stairs. His voice cracked through the intercom. Cut the feed. Cut it now. But the tech crew, half of them already crying, did nothing. because they saw what the world was seeing, the truth. And the star who had been born not from fame, but from fire. Molly turned to the camera, her voice trembling now, but not from fear. If you hear me, if you've lived this too, you are not alone. Her mic dropped, not from drama, but because her hand finally let go. And in that second, before the lights went black, before Jack was dragged out screaming, before hashtags flooded every corner of the internet, the crowd rose. And for the first time in her life, they chanted her real name. Molly. 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 But even as the roar filled the arena, her eyes searched the shadows. Because she knew Jack wasn't the only one. Backstage lights flickered. Security scrambled. Journalists burst through barricades. But Molly didn't move. She stood alone in the middle of the stage. As the weight of years lifted, and a different kind of silence took its place. Not the silence of fear, but of finally being heard. Her phone buzzed in her pocket. Non-stop. Calls, texts, notifications. From reporters, fans, strangers. And one name she hadn't seen in years.
May.
Her mother. Molly stared at the name for a long moment, then answered. There was no sound at first, only soft crying on the other end. Molly, is that really you? Her voice broke. Yes, May. I'm coming home. Behind her, a crew member wrapped a blanket around her shoulders. Another whispered. The label, they're lawyering up. She didn't care.
Let them.
The war had already started. And for once, she wasn't fighting it alone. By morning, #Justice for Molly was trending in 20 countries. 3 more women came forward, all with stories, all with scars. The label released a statement. Cold.
Corporate.
Too late. Jack Carson's mugshot spread across the screen. Eyes swollen, jaw bruised. But it wasn't enough. Because behind every Jack, there were 10 more. And Molly knew that if she stopped here, it would all fade. So she didn't stop. She recorded a video in Thai for the girls back home, the ones still singing in night markets, still believing that fame meant freedom. She ended it with only this. Be careful who lights your path. Not every spotlight shows you the way. Some just blind you long enough to cage you. And then, she disappeared. No more posts. No more concerts. No more Molly in the headlines. Until, 1 year later, a blurry photo emerged online. A small stage. A community center in Lampong. A girl with a guitar. A familiar voice singing softly. Surrounded by children. No name. No announcement. But, in the comments, I know that voice. She's still singing. A real star never fades. Word spread quietly, like a secret passed from heart to heart. No press, no sponsors. Just a growing whisper across small towns and village schools. She wasn't Molly the idol anymore. She was Molly, the older sister, who showed up when no one else did. She brought guitars instead of glam, laughter instead of labels. Girls sat cross-legged on bamboo mats, watching her eyes, not her fame. And boys listened, not because she was famous, but because her words made them feel something. She sang in Thai again. Old folk melodies. New lyrics. Truths layered between each note. In a world obsessed with fame, she chose presence. In an industry that erased her name, she wrote new ones on others' hearts. But peace has a strange price. Because one day, outside the center, a black van appeared. No logo. No plates. Just a man in sunglasses, holding an envelope, addressed only to the girl who spoke too loud. She didn't open it right away. She waited until the last kid left, then unfolded the paper. Hands steady, eyes sharp. Inside, a contract, not a music deal, a silence deal. Money, security, protection. If she disappeared, again. At the bottom, a name she hadn't seen since LA. Elias March, Executive VP, Radio L Records. Jack's mentor. The real spider behind the web. She looked out the window. The van was still there. Waiting. Watching. Her fingers hovered over her phone. Not to call for help, but to call someone she never thought she'd trust. A journalist. One who had once tried to break her story. Before the label buried it. She dialed. He picked up immediately. "I've been waiting for this call." And she said, with the same calm voice she used the night everything changed, "It's not over. You ready to burn the whole house down?" The journalist didn't hesitate. "Tell me where you are." She dropped the phone to speaker mode, walked to the window, watched the black van idle under the rain. "I'm in Lampung, community center near the old temple. But listen, this isn't just a story anymore. It's a reckoning." He exhaled through the line, the kind of breath people take when they realize they're about to risk everything. Then let's make it count. 3 hours later, he arrived with nothing but a camera bag, a half-dead laptop, and eyes that hadn't slept in days. She handed him the envelope. He scanned it.
Paused.
"They're getting sloppy," he muttered. But that name, Elias March, he's not just a producer. He funds entire label chains. He's got friends in parliament, and offshore accounts tied to media blackouts. Molly didn't blink. "I don't care how big he is." He gave Jack the keys. He locked the girls in. "I'm done staying quiet." The journalist pulled out his mic. "You sure about this?" And she said, "For the last time, I was born sure." That night, they filmed the interview. No makeup, no lights, just truth, heavy and raw. Molly named names,
Dates.
contracts, rooms with cameras, girls who never came back. The video dropped at sunrise. No clickbait, just the title.
She survived.
They paid to silence her. It hit 1 million views in 6 hours. By noon, Interpol flagged the accounts. By evening, Elias March vanished from his condo in Singapore. But Molly didn't run this time. She stayed, spoke on panels, helped build shelters for exploited youth, taught girls to sing with voices no one could steal. And still, some nights, when the center is quiet and the stars bloom above the hills, she plays her guitar by the window. Same old strings, new songs only truth could write. Not to be heard, not for fame, but because she can. The chords she played weren't perfect. Sometimes her fingers stumbled, but her voice never did. Each note carried memory, not bitterness, but clarity. She sang to the silence, not to fill it, but to honor the sound of being free. Word of her grew again, but differently now. No billboards, no neon lights, just whispers. "She helped my sister. She told the truth. She saved me." She didn't need to tour. The world came to her. Girls arrived from Bangkok, Pattaya, even from across borders. Some broken, some brave, all ready to begin again. And when they asked her, "Were you scared?" she would smile softly and say, "Every day, but I sang anyway." Then came the letter. Handwritten, folded clean, no signature, just one line.
"He's not gone."
Just deeper underground. She stared at it for a long time, the edges trembling between her fingertips. Not fear, not anymore, but a choice. She looked outside. Children were planting trees in the red clay soil. Laughter spilled through the windows like sunlight. The center was growing. The girls were healing. And still, the past wasn't done. She folded the letter, tucked it into her guitar case, and quietly whispered to herself, "Then we dig him out." She waited until nightfall, until the lanterns were out, until the children were tucked in, until the hum of insects swallowed the world. Then she opened her laptop, typed in an old password, one she hadn't used since LA. A hidden folder appeared. Footage. Clips never released. Conversations recorded through cracked doors. One file labeled "Do Not Open, EM." She clicked it anyway. The screen went black for a second, then lit up with shaky hidden camera footage. Elias, sitting at a long table, smoking, surrounded by men in expensive suits. They don't talk, because they want the stage. We give them that. In return, They give us their silence. Someone laughed. A hand passed him a folder. Inside it, Molly's original birth certificate, her visa papers, her real contract. She paused the video, zoomed in on the hand, a scar across the knuckles, and a ring, government insignia. Her breath caught. This wasn't just about Elias. It wasn't just music. It was a system, a chain. And she was the crack. She backed up the files to a secure drive, typed a message to the journalist. We go deeper. I'm ready. Outside, the wind picked up. The trees shifted. The air felt heavier. And somewhere far away, in a high-rise boardroom lit by marble lamps, a phone rang. The man who answered wore a gray suit, the same scar on his hand. He listened, then said calmly, "She knows. Deal with it." The next morning, she woke to find the community center's front gate unlocked. That had never happened before. The staff hadn't touched it. The children were still asleep. Only one person had been awake at that hour, Molly, and she knew what it meant. She stood at the gate, eyes scanning the dirt road, waiting for something
Or someone.
but no one came. Not that day. Not the next. Just silence. The kind that wraps around your chest and holds too tight. The journalist messaged, "I'm being followed. We have to go dark." She didn't ask questions. She knew the rules. Once the men in suits know your name, you don't get second warnings. But even as she burned backup copies and moved the girls to safer places, Molly felt no fear, only focus. Because now she knew what they were really afraid of, the truth spoken by someone who survived, the ones who couldn't be bought or broken. A week later, a letter arrived by hand. A small boy delivered it, barefoot and wide-eyed. No return address. No seal.
Inside.
A photo. A girl. No older than Molly when she left Chiang Mai. Standing on a rooftop. Eyes hollow. A bruise at her collarbone. Written on the back in red ink. Last chance. Molly closed her eyes, held the photo to her chest, and whispered a name she hadn't spoken in years. The name of the first girl who didn't make it. The name no label ever mentioned. Suda. That night, she left the center without saying goodbye. No suitcase. No plan. Only a drive. North. To the border. To the house that didn't show up on maps. Because there was one last file she hadn't shared. One final recording. And it didn't belong to Elias. It belonged to the man with the ring. The one who said, "Deal with it." And Molly was going to, but on her terms. And this time, she wasn't coming for justice. She was coming to finish the story. The road narrowed as she reached the edge of Mae Hong Sun. Mist curled through the trees like breath. No headlights followed. No signal on her phone. Just the hum of her engine. And the sound of her heart steadying itself for war. She found the house just after dawn. Wooden, ancient, quiet like a thing pretending to sleep. She walked up the steps, the photo still folded in her pocket. No knocking. No fear. The door creaked open like it remembered her. Inside, the air smelled like dust and old smoke. And there, at the far end, he sat. The man with the scarred hand. No security. No smile. Just him. And a teacup. "I thought you'd come," he said. She said nothing. He reached into a drawer, pulled out a small flash drive, laid it on the table between them. "Everything you want is here," he said. Names.
Dates.
But it won't bring her back. Molly's fingers hovered over it. She didn't touch it.
Not yet.
"You think I came for files?" she said quietly. He raised an eyebrow. "I came so you'd have to look me in the eyes," she whispered. "And no, I survived. And I made others survive, too." He didn't answer. Couldn't. Because truth has a weight that even power can't hold. She took the drive. Stood. "You'll never be safe again," he said. Molly paused at the door. "No," she replied. "But neither will you." She left the house behind her. No flames. No revenge. Just sunlight breaking through the mist. And a mountain wind that finally felt clean. At the border, she mailed the drive to the journalist. with a note. Let them hear her name. Weeks later, Suda's story was broadcast around the world. And Molly, she was last seen teaching music to girls in a riverside village, smiling softly as voices rose with hers, stars glowing in their eyes.